Minutes of Horror is doing a real good job covering the in-flight freakouts people have been having and tying them to demonic activity. I'm still in the camp of thinking the whole thing is a work. However, the demon angle is quite possible, because you look at the words that are included. Look at the words involved here. It's always a clue for stuff like this. You know, you got that. Well, the whole thing of air travel has always been kind of a rabbit hole. There's a guy in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. He did a whole thing on a whole series a couple years back. I don't know if he's still around, but he did a thing on planes and how air travel isn't what we think it is, and all the deception that goes along with it. He was showing how long an airplane's supposed to be, right? How many feet they say it is. And they're in like a stadium, and he has a friend at one end. He walks the other end. People right at my house. And he walks the length of how long the plane's supposed to be. And he's way the fuck down there. And then it shows him on a plane, and he stands at where the end of the plane is to the front, like a commercial plane. He's standing in there, and it's way closer. So what he's saying is the inside of the plane it's like an illusion, like a trick of the eye. It's a much smaller area than you think it is. Even the if you look on the right side of the planes, how they have those doors, like for emergency doors. The emergency doors are tiny to make the ones that don't open on the co-pilot side. To make the plane look bigger, the doors are actually tiny. You couldn't go through them. It's really weird. There's a lot of sleight of hand and strange deception when it comes to planes, and it's like, why, you know? So, man, I'll have to dig that up. If I dig that up, I'll put links to it. But he did a lot of good work with it. You know, basically, I think his final theory was that when you go onto a plane, you're actually going into something. And everything that's happening outside isn't relative to what you think if you were to look at the plane from the ground. What you're seeing out the window is like an illusion or a film or something. And it's actually, the thing you're in is not traveling the way you think it is. And it got me thinking just about the words, right? Airplane, Satan controls the air. I always want to say Euphrates. Euphrates, choo-choo. Man has the earth, Satan has the air, God has the heavens. So he controls that area. Now, when you move, right, you're traveling. You're traveling through with the planes, you know, planes of existence or whatever, different frequencies, different dimensions. It makes me think about that. And you look at the big turbines that spin, and it makes me think about spun Mercury, which is how the so-called aliens travel. And those little saucers they have, the reason they're round is because they got to spin the Mercury to move interdimensionally. Or as I like to say, interfrequency, because it's really more interfrequency than interdimensional. Dimensions, when you start talking about dimensions, it becomes confusing. As I've said many times, dimensions in physics and dimensions in geometry are completely different things. And then when you talk about dimensions as a place you can actually inhabit, well, now you're talking about a third thing. So in my view, it's more like a frequency, just how all this is just frequency. You're on a frequency. Me and all these people are on the same frequency. We were tuned into the same frequency. That's how we can all see the street that's in front of us that allows us all to walk on it and interact with it. There are other frequencies all around us that we can't see, and they can't see us, existing independently inside the snow globe or whatever we're in, you know, this energy fucking thing. But the idea is that planes, when you get on them, I mean, you get in that room, that area, you're sealed in. You can't like open up a door. You can't open a window. You're just moving. There's a lot of weird stuff about planes. But anyway, the fact that it could be the diminishing veil, as I always talk about, or the disintegrating veil, people are starting to see the things that were hidden from us up to this point. So are they seeing demons in the air? I mean, they could be, yeah. That is their domain. Even though, I mean, here's the thing, that was originally their domain. That's originally as it was laid down. Although, I think throughout time, as time has gone on, they've claimed more of this area for themselves. I don't think the ground actually is the domain of man any longer. Might have been at one point, the pre-farming days. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there, I think. So, maybe, I mean, is it a psyop? Or is it demon? Or is it a combination of both? Were people seeing these things, right? So they had to create some kind of thing to explain it away, because they realized perhaps too many people were having this experience, and they expect more experiences like it because of the way the situation is. You know, as I say all the time, their technology is breaking down. Their technology, their magic, whatever you want to call it, the methods they use to transmute our energy, which they suck all the time, into energy to then use against us to create this area that we live in, you know? Because we created it ourselves. We create our own sort of world here. We create our cage is reality itself. That's what it is, you know. We create our own imprisonment, but unknowingly, you know. They take the energy we produce. They try to control our imaginations through whatever method, fear porn. They love the fear porn. They tell you what is happening in the world when it really isn't. And then you think about it, you imagine it, and you create it in your mind, and it shows up here on the screen. You know? So yeah, this whole air travel thing is really interesting, and I've been keeping an eye on it just to see how it all ends up. It seems like it's going somewhere though. Or at least it feels like it is. I don't know. It could fizzle out like a lot of other stuff, but just the nature of what it is, of what people are seeing, I just kind of feel like there's going to be more to it. The best part of it, though, is I don't even have to do any independent research. I just have to watch Minutes of Horror. He's doing all the heavy lifting. I just gotta show up and go, yeah, tie this to that, tie this to that, tie this to that, you know, red string, tacks, the busy board. But I'm best at that stuff, though. I can research too, you know. That was a big part of my job for many years, so I'm good at it. Pre-internet, I started doing that stuff, like, as working in civil engineering, research is a huge part of the job. And yeah, I started doing that as a young teen, working on state party crew, doing plot plans and going to registries of deeds, getting information, working with microfiche, going to these vaults in the basements of these town halls where they keep all the records. I talked about the giant books before, the giant field books that it would take 2 men to open up. And they're field books. And we never thought, like, why are these fucking books so big? We just kind of, because you didn't notice that kind of stuff. The veil was tightly in place. And you would see it. That's like how the veil works, right? It isn't like it disintegrates, and I mean, you'll see spiritual stuff, you know, like the demon thing, but it doesn't reveal stuff that wasn't there before. It allows you to see things in a way you didn't look at it before. You know, you could be staring right at something, and when the veil's in place, you're just not seeing anything abnormal about it. Just like when, you know, a lot of us went to school in old buildings in New England, and they'd have the windows built halfway underground, and you'd be like, why would they build a window down there? I don't know. You might think about it sometimes, but you didn't really look at it. Now you look at it and you're like, what the fuck is what? You know, and questions. That's disintegrating veil. That's how that happens. So it isn't like everything's like you start to see everything. Everything was already here. It's just you weren't looking at it, you know, the right way, or from an angle where you could see something. But I think that settled science. I think I covered that already about 500 times. So just getting some thumbnails and getting out of there. I swear, people fucking love to surround me. If you ever hear me get all quiet and talk like that, it's because I got people breathing on my neck. I don't feel comfortable being that close to people, but I think I'm the only one that doesn't, because I try to give people space, but they don't do the same. Like, they don't care. It's like animals. They're like a bunch of herd animals. I try to have empathy for them because I do have an empathy center. Having a prefrontal cortex allows you to have that. Some people don't have a prefrontal cortex, and that's why they go into convenience stores, rob the place, and then shoot the old lady in the face. But unfortunately, we have to deal with those people because the Hats invented boats. Actually, the Dutch invented boats. The Hats then use them to move dangerous people into your neighborhood. And that's the history of the world. Oh, at least I make myself laugh. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.